My question is about one of your responses to the previous questions about the historical Jesus. Now, your arguments for Jesus being who he said he was are very rooted in historical methodology.
Yes.
Yes. But in John 14:6, Jesus makes the universal claim, I am the way, the truth, and the light. So is it possible to investigate the historical Jesus without first answering true or false to that claim? And if not, how can one use historical methodology to argue for the truth of the resurrection?
Well, I would say almost unequivocally, yes, it is possible to do that before knowing the truth of that claim. Why would you think otherwise?
Because it affects every decision you make as a historian on how to handle the evidence going forward.
Well, I don't think that's true. I mentioned that these central facts undergirding the resurrection of Jesus, such as his honorable burial or his entombment by Joseph of Arimathea, the discovery of that tomb's being empty on the Sunday morning following the crucifixion by a group of his women followers, the post-mortem appearance of Jesus to various individuals and groups on a variety of circumstances and locations, and then the transformation, the earliest disciples coming to believe suddenly and sincerely that God had raised Jesus from the dead. Those facts are acknowledged by Jewish scholars investigating Jesus, as well as by non-evangelical scholars investigating Jesus. So it seems to me that the objective historian can establish these facts independently of believing that Jesus is divine or the way, the truth, and the life, and so forth. Now, where he might balk then would be making the inference that the best explanation of this is God raised him from the dead. I think many of these scholars will simply remain agnostic at that point. They will simply say, we don't know what happened. Something happened, but we don't know what it is. But then I think the Christian will say, I think that the resurrection hypothesis, when judged by the standard criteria historians use in assessing historical hypotheses, like explanatory power, explanatory scope, plausibility, degree of ad hocness, and so forth, that it passes those tests and does so better than any rival hypothesis, and therefore one is well within his rational rights in believing the resurrection hypothesis. So I don't think that you have to make that kind of a determination that you mentioned prior to looking at the evidence. On the contrary, I think the evidence could actually lead you to coming to that point and making such a decision.